What's happening? Yo, what's happening? What's happening? Nick Rice, what up? Patrick, what's up? Wife, what's up? Hector, what's happening? Doing good, man. Everything is good. Keyshawn, what's happening? Bojo, what's up? It's all good with the TV. What up? No long sleeves, man. Just a regular t-shirt from shout out to Espinosa Leather. If you ride motorcycles, you know what's happening. Let's see. Sholitha Stanford, what's happening? Angie Marr, what's up? Excuse me. Velos Bandit, Derek Trent, what's up? What's up? Cool, we got a few people tuned in. I wanted to run a quick little live session. I don't know how long I'm gonna do, maybe an hour, maybe 45 minutes or so. Answer some questions, talk about a few things. Hopefully people picked up some cool shit for Black Friday. Michael, what's happening? F Mob. Where to get them water bottles at? This is Hydro Flask. I just threw decals on it. Decals cut with my Cameo cutter. But it's a Hydro Flask. Oh, there it is. Let me see. Some people asking other questions. Cibano, what's up? Is printing transfers through sublimation any good with Epson? It all depends. Sublimation, you have to press on polyester shit. So if you're pressing on polyester, sublimation is the way to go. If not, I wouldn't recommend printing transfers at home. I never had a good experience printing transfers at home, so I kind of stay away from it. Let me see. What do you think is the best way to print full color American Apparel Next Level tees? Plastisol transfer would be my recommendation. 15 by 15 Black Series on Black Friday, very dope. Good cheap stickers, 555 stickers. It all depends. There's a lot of, when you say stickers, there's a lot of different kind of stickers. There's screen printed stickers, digital printed stickers, die cut stickers. There's a lot of different ones with a lot of different price ranges. So you have to figure out what you want, and then you source it that way. I recommend a lot of people the 555 sticker, which is a digital printed sticker. It's just printed on a really large format printer, full color, and then it cuts it out. Some people want the backing to be kiss cut, meaning you could split it from the back, or you just want to peel off a corner or whatever it is. There's a lot of different ways to do stickers, especially like screen printed stickers, especially like what's that other fucking, can't think of the name off the top of my head, but there's some stickers made with just regular toners like your at-home printer, but off of a large format printer. So figure out what you want. Some are UV coated, some aren't. Like I said, if you're just looking for bang for your buck, the cheap shit, 555 sticker always runs crazy ass deals for die cut stickers. There's no color limit on the transfers, not when you do a 4-color process. 4-color process is pretty much CMYK. The same way that your home printer prints using cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. With those 4 colors, you could pretty much create any color on a white base. So if you're doing spot color shit, then there might be some sort of color limits if you're doing spot color, because of if your printer doesn't do everything off the Pantone color wheel and they're not mixing their own inks and they're just using inks from buckets, then you're limited to the colors you can use. But if you're doing, like I said, 4-color process, then the colors are limitless. Let me see. I want to start a t-shirt online store. Then start it, Michael. But I'm in Holland. Start it in Holland. I recommend eggshell stickers. They stick to anything, even the floor, and no one can ever peel them off. Absolutely correct. Salute Worldwide. Suerte Muerte was using eggshell stickers. Really dope. What he's talking about is the material that it's made out of. Once you stick it on something, you cannot peel it off. If you peel it off, it peels off in pieces. Like, it's a fucking bitch to try to take off. So those are cool. A little bit more expensive, but it all depends on what you want to use the stickers for. You know what I mean? Is Plastisol Transfer HTV on the Cameo the best printing option for beginners, for someone with no following and still filling out the market? Plastisol Transfers aren't not printed on a Cameo. Plastisol Transfers are screen printed transfers. Your Cameo is a vinyl cutter. That's going to cut the vinyl. It's not printing anything. It's just cutting out vinyl. The best thing as a beginner is to educate yourself on all of this shit. So that way you know what you're offering, you know what to look for, you know what you want to get into. So I have a shitload of videos talking about Plastisol Transfers, obviously, and a few videos talking about HTV or Cameos and stuff like that. Knowing the difference between those is going to help you out in the long run. Like I said, Plastisol Transfer is a screen printed transfer. It's not printed from home. It's not printed on a desktop printer. You can do full color, multicolor prints on Plastisol Transfers, or you can do single color, double color, spot color shit. So knowing the difference, very, very helpful. Watch some videos on my channel and you'll understand. I have videos talking about what a Plastisol Transfer is, you know what I mean, explaining how it's made and what it is. So I would start right there. If you're a beginner, just educate yourself on the different processes. The shit that I talk about, like Plastisol Transfers, HTV, shit like that, is just one option or two options on how to make t-shirts from home. There's people that print transfers from home on their regular desktop printer. There's people that do sublimation. There's people that screen print. There's people that do DTG. There's somebody in the Facebook group that does printed vinyl. His shit's fucking dope as fuck too. So there's a lot of different ways to do shit. The stuff that I talk about is the cost-effective, easy way of getting into the business, so to say. You know what I mean? Let me see. What size heat press is good? Stuck between 15 by 15, 9 by 12. Victor Esteban, it all depends on what you think you're going to be designing. Are you going to be designing something bigger than 9 by 12? If you do, then obviously 15 by 15 will be the deciding factor for that. If money's the issue, and say if there's a big price difference between 9 by 12, 15 by 15, then buy the 9 by 12 and you can always upgrade later. You know what I mean? But figure out what you're going to be designing. Let me see. Already answered the good cheap sticker question. Got any big plans for 2019? Nah, no big plans. I'm gonna keep operating the same businesses I've been doing. For Patreon, I am gonna launch a brand, well, like a niche brand, just to show the process on how I start these brands and then kind of market them, where I'm gonna be marketing at, how I'm gonna be marketing it, and then all the way to production, brand development, all of that stuff. And that's just for the Patreon. That's just to make content for Patreon to show the process. If you didn't want to join Patreon, I have a series on my channel called Starting From Scratch that kind of shows the same thing when I started Leftovers, how I did it, came up with the name, how I started testing out shit, all the way to fulfilling the orders. So I am going to be doing that for 2019. It'll probably start, yeah, it'll probably start 2019. So currently on Patreon, what I'm going to be showing is brand development, finding the niche market, you know, finding the void in these certain markets. You know what I mean? That way I could find the audience and find the groups I need to be in and kind of who to sell to. You know what I mean? So that shit right there will be just for Patreon, but that's for 2019. Other than that, still operating these businesses, still doing a lot more shit. So for one of my brands, I do want to start launching some jackets that I found some dope jackets at the beginning of this year. I will be doing those in January. I think I'll go into production at the end of December and then launch them in January. So that's kind of cool. And I talk about the jackets on Patreon, what jackets I'm going to be going with. I found like really cheap in price, good in quality Letterman jackets, like, you know, like the high school Letterman ones, but not wool with the leather sleeves. Well, I found those too, but the ones I'm going to be using is full wool body, wool sleeves, a few different colors, really, really cool quality and a cheap price. So I'm going to be getting some embroidery and some applique done on those. Let me see. LS Cannon, what up? My first time buying a heat press, a Black Series HPN 9x12, bro. Some hard work. Is it a mistake because it's too small for a starter? Not a mistake at all. 9x12 is a decent size, but you can always upgrade later. Make some money with the 9x12 and then upgrade later. When you buy a heat press, you're just buying your design limitations. So 9x12, obviously you can't do a fucking 16x16 print. Who does 16x16 prints? Not that many people. I never design outside of 15 inches. That's why I use a 15x15. So 9x12, you could do a lot of shit. Chest tits, you could do a lot of different stuff with that 9x12. But just remember, if you wanted to go bigger, make some money using your 9x12 and then upgrade later. That's all it is. It's harder to go from like buying the big ass 16x20 Hotronix $2,500 fucking press and then downgrading, you know what I mean? Because you already spent all that money on this big press. So Character 9, what's happening? Jose Jimenez, what up, Brando? What's up with Jason Ans? He burned me, took my money and ran. He's usually in these things right here, so hit him up if you see him in here. Do you have any experience with embroidery machines, and do you recommend getting one or just having other people do it for you? There's a lot of work that goes into it. Yeah, I don't own an embroidery machine. Me and one of my homeboys that we started doing brands around the same time, we're looking into buying one. We looked into leasing one. Space was a big fucking kind of a major player for us. We needed the space to have it. We didn't want to get one that had a single head because it takes a long time to stitch a hat. So if you're just doing one at a time, it takes a long time. But if you had 6 heads, then you could kind of just fucking load it up, let it go, and then in the same amount of time it'll take to do one, it'll do 6 at one time. Our thing was the digitizing software is expensive as fuck also. That's something a lot of people don't really look into, but you need that software for operating the embroidery machine because you're sending these files. The digitizing software pretty much says how many stitches it'll take to cover a complete fucking design. So whenever you get your shit digitized or you get something embroidered, you send the vector file to the print shop. Print shop runs it through their digitizing software, and then it says how many stitches it's going to take. That's why the digitizing portion, it's a one-time fee when you get something embroidered, costs so much, because that fucking software is expensive too. So you go through that motion, it digitizes it, and then it starts stitching on there. There's a lot of manual labor involved because you have to set the ring on the hat. If you're doing 3D puff embroidery, then you have to set the foam down. There's a lot of shit that goes into it. So being that we weren't that knowledgeable on what was going on, we had the money to buy the machine and we're ready. Space was one thing because we couldn't figure out, because we had to lease a warehouse space to put the machine in. It just didn't add up. We have the clientele, but it's just easier for us to just give it to an embroiderer who already has the machines, who's already knowledgeable in it, and then bang out our hats and our sweaters and all our other shit for us. So yeah, we never really got into that shit. Let me see. Where do you pull your inspiration from? I get inspired from fucking everything. Anything and everything. Anything I could think about making money on, that's where my inspiration comes from. Like when I start this brand for the Patreon group, it's pretty much just a void that I see, and I want to fucking make money in this space. So that's how I find the target audience. Then I design for the audience, not for myself. Keyshawn says, thanks, I've been binging on your channel. I was wondering which one would be more cost effective and easier for a new person. Not exactly sure, Keyshawn, what the question is. How can I get labels for my t-shirts? Plastisol transfers work. You think the Amazon heat press is worth it? It's cool if that's what you want to get into. For one, I don't really trust too many reviews on Amazon anymore, because a lot of these companies pay to have people just review shit, and even if it's a crap thing, they're paying for them to give them 5 stars. I've had mixed reviews. I've bought a press off of Amazon and that shit fucking crapped out. It started torching my shirts, and then on top of that, the heat platen on top started to rust. And then that shit was fucking up my shirts too. So if that's all your budget, like if you have $200, you could buy a really good 15x15 heat press on Heat Press Nation. So there shouldn't be any excuse. I know the ones on Amazon go for like, you know, $180 to like $250, but $200 you could get a cool ass one off of Heat Press Nation that's quality, that has a customer service hotline that you could call and they'll troubleshoot you, or they'll, you know, walk you through fixing your shit. Let me see. Diz, what's happening, bro? Do you think bomber jackets are still popping? Kind of and kind of not. I'm gonna, on the Patreon, I have a video that I'm gonna release later. I think it's fucking later this week or maybe next week, talking about bomber jackets. But to me, it's a classic jacket that was overused. So people still wear them. They're still popular. They're just not, they just got kind of played out last year. You know what I mean? So you can still make money on them. There's a few companies that still sell them, which is cool, at decent prices too. The ones that I like, that I'm making the video about, is they're not nylon. They're like not canvas either. I don't know. It's a crazy material where it's kind of like wool, but not wool. It's like some kind of canvas type of material, but it's in the bomber form. It's ill as fuck, man. So I'm thinking about using those next year too. Let me see. Is 11x13 a good size for a center chest design? 11x3, I'm guessing, is 11 wide by 3. Best way to figure that shit out is tape the shit off. I have a video on my channel where I show me taping off apron, so I know where to press it. That's the best way that you're gonna see what looks best to you. A lot of times people always think like, hey, what the fuck? I wanted to do a large chest print, and they ended up doing it maybe like 13, 14 inches wide, and they've seen that it lands inside the armpits when a shirt's worn. To avoid that, tape the shit off. Like if this was me and I wanted to do this fucking design, all you have to do is just tape this shit off right here, and then you could actually see what it would look like positioned on the shirt, spacing, all that shit. Let me see. Samuel V's, what's up? CC, it's the best way to put pictures on a dark shirt. I tried Nina 3G Jet Opaque and the picture started to crack within 3 laundry washings. I personally don't do this, CC. What she wants to do is put like a photo image on a t-shirt, on a dark color t-shirt. And she's printing the transfer from home from her regular printer. I don't do this because of that same exact reason. I've tried a ton of different transfer papers and shit. I've never had luck with quality, so I always stay away from it. If I need a photo or an image like that on a t-shirt, I get it direct to garment, DTG. If you just Yelped DTG or something like that, a lot of print shops in your area have a DTG machine strictly for this. Let me see. Where are you getting the jackets from? Othniel Ellis. The information's on the Patreon. I made a video on where I'm ordering them and where I found them at. Unwritten, what's happening? Sholitha. If I want to print a design off of Google through an inkjet printer, what paper do I use to transfer the design onto the shirt? I don't print transfers from home, so I don't do any of those. I don't even use a desktop printer at home to print anything besides, you know, my kids' schoolwork or some shit. I have never had any good, I don't want to say good experiences, but I've never had a good quality print and a good quality transfer printed from home, so I stay away from them. Angie Moore said, did you answer my question? Not sure which question it was. Ask it again. Sheet metal, what's happening? Uprinting.com, it is a great place for package labels, hang tags, stickers, business cards, and etc. for marketing. Thanks a lot, Paris. Not to say digitizing is a pain in the ass if you do it yourself. Yeah, I've never even tried to do any digitizing on my own. How do you keep motivated on the downtimes? Money motivates me. Holland, is it very hard to start an online business? It's not hard to start an online business. You can start it from anywhere. Empress 15x15 is $234 right now. 235 bucks, not bad for a quality press. I believe I can't remember how much the Craft Pro is, but if anybody caught Black Friday sales, they caught really cheap ass shit. Do you charge extra for 2X and 5X shirt designs? Not for the design, but for the t-shirt. 2X to 5X is a lot more expensive in t-shirts, so I charge extra for the t-shirt, not for the design. Unwritten said that Amazon heat press is not worth it at all. It's better to invest in something that's better. I agree. Tried your method on testing out HTV temp and pressure. Took me a few days because the washes. Once I did the sweatshirts, I was very confident because I dialed it down. Thanks. Dortail, that's the best way to fucking do it. A lot of people, me included, would get really impatient when it comes to that shit. So usually when we do like shit like that, I always use heather colored shirts, like heather gray, because I could throw that shit in with white clothes, dark clothes, whatever, if I'm just doing wash tests. So anything, my kids are washing clothes, I'll throw that shirt in with them. My wife's washing clothes, I'll throw it in with them. If I'm washing anything, towels, it doesn't matter. I just throw the shirt in just to get the washes. But that shit's time consuming, right? Obviously, you have to wash it, dry it, take it out, wash it, dry it, take it out. All that shit is really time consuming. So a lot of us don't like to do it. A lot of people don't want to test the shit out that way. They just want to start pressing shit and it looks good after they pressed it and say, fuck it. But dialing it in and knowing what you're offering your customers is a sign of relief. Like, you know how the shirt's going to hold up when the customer has it. You know you washed that shirt X amount of times and nothing happened to the shirt. So that's why I do it. I recommend other people do it, but most people don't really do it. You know what I mean? I really don't care. Let me see. Best emotion, I don't know. I don't screen print no more. Best ink brand, I don't know. I don't screen print no more. Nalu, what's happening? Bam. Empress is $234. $30 more than what I said. But at the end, it's close to $300. If you would have got it on Black Friday, it would have been dumb cheap. If you're local, just call and we'll call it. Save yourself the shipping fee from Heat Press Nation. Nicholas Jacob, that's exactly how I got my presses, is ordering it, don't pay the freight, and just pick the shit up. And this is back when they were in Fullerton, or I think they're in Brea now, but they used to be in Fullerton. Their old warehouse used to be right down the street from FlexFit's warehouse. Because I used to pick up shit from FlexFit too. Thanks for that advice. Do you think there's a need for the vinyl cutter if I'm still going to do plasol transfers, heat press route? I personally own a Cameo, which is a very cheap vinyl cutter. I use my vinyl cutter for custom t-shirts and to test out designs before I get Plastisol transfers made with those designs. Why do I do that? I don't want to waste a shitload of transfers on some designs that I know will not sell. I'd rather waste my money on making transfers of designs that I know will sell by testing it out with vinyl first. So say if this was my shirt, this is not my shirt by the way, but say if this was my design and I thought of this design last night and I was like, man, let me put that shit on a t-shirt. Obviously I could just cut that shit on a vinyl in the morning, press it on a shirt, wear that same shirt to work. So I could come to work wearing this shirt. I'll go to the mall, I could go to Disneyland, I could go to the swap meet, I could go wherever there's gonna be people, and I see what kind of just reactions I get off of the shirt. So I'll just be like, oh shit, you know, this shit is fucking cool. Somebody will look at it, somebody will ask about it. All this data I'm recording in my head. All right, this person said it's cool, this person liked that design, this person liked that. Now I know and I'm confident enough that if I made Plastisol transfers of this same design, that there is some sort of market for it. It will grab some sort of attention. That's what I use my vinyl cutter for, is just to test out my designs before I get transfers made. And I also use it to do custom shirts, because I can make custom shirts all day long and make a shitload of money. $20 a pop, and I'm only using like $1 worth of vinyl or whatever it is. That's a fucking win every single time. You know what I mean? So if you have a heat press, it makes sense just to have a vinyl cutter also. You don't have to be in the business, like the custom business or anything, but if you're ever hard up for money, you have the resources to make some money by just pressing a couple custom shirts or one-off shirts for some people. There's always people's birthdays, there's always kids around, there's always babies. You could always think of shit to press. So ever since I got into heat pressing, I've always kept the vinyl cutter. Even if I didn't use it all the time, when I run brands, I always use Plastisol transfers for retail. But just having the vinyl cutter, I could make a shirt right when I get home. Just thinking of something, put it in the computer, cut it out, press it on the shirt, and I'm good to go. You know what I mean? So there's no need for it, but it's really, really good to test out your designs before you get transfers made. Same reason why I get transfers made is because I don't want to burn a lot of t-shirts when I just direct screen print them. And then you have all this extra stock that you don't know you could sell. Using Plastisol transfers gives you the flexibility of just kind of dumping your money into transfers and then pressing the shirts as you get the sales coming in. You know what I mean? So that way you don't waste blank shirts, and then you just stack the transfers. And like 100 transfers is like this thick. So obviously there's space in your workspace. You could put that in an envelope. You could put that shit wherever. Once you cut them out, the designs are like 10 inches, 11 inches, or however big you design. You could always put them in envelopes. Like I use 10 by 13 gray envelopes, and then I'll write whatever transfer it is, and then I'll just put them in like a little filing thing that you use for mail or whatever, and then I just file them shits away. And then so when jobs come in, I pull that envelope, grab the transfer, press it, I'm good to go. That way you're not burning a lot of shirts up. Burning meaning wasting shirts, you know what I mean? Hopefully that helps you out or answers the question. So I don't think the vinyl cutter is needed. That's just what I use it for. All right, let me see. Where you order your shirts, do they send to Holland too? I don't know. I've never had to send shirts to Holland, so I never even looked at that option. I would just Google some shirts and then see if they send to Holland. Like, are there certain designs that make more sense via vinyl cutter, or is it cheaper, quicker? Just wondering. I don't know if I just answered. Oh, that's for the same girl. So Sylvia, I just answered that in a whole. So hopefully that helps you out. Starting from the bottom, literally, I have a cutter and press. I don't know how to use Photoshop. Any good tutorials? The one I found goes fast. You could design in the cutting software that like, I don't know if you have a Cameo or a Cricut. You don't even need Photoshop. You could just design inside the Cameo software, inside the Cricut software, and get that shit going. So you really don't need Photoshop. What you need is an idea of what you wanted to create, right? So if you wanted to create something that said fucking cool shirts, you would need at least the idea on how you want the fucking cool shirts to look on this t-shirt, right? So you just lay it out, type in fucking, there it is on the screen, type out cool, and then you type out shirts. Now you just arrange them to how you want it to look. That's designing in a whole, right? You know what the end product you want it to look like. Now in the software, you're trying to figure out how to manipulate it to make it look like that. The easiest way to do the shit is obviously watch some YouTube videos. But when I was learning Photoshop and Illustrator, there wasn't a lot of YouTube videos on the shit. I don't even think when I first started using it, I don't even know if I was even fucking with YouTube at that time, but I would just click on every single tool and then find out what it did. So then I would click on one tool, click on inside the little box or the area where I was creating, and find out what that shit did. That way I knew what was going on. You're not going to break the software. You're not going to fuck your computer up by clicking different buttons. Just know when you click one button, figure out what it does, how that tool works, how it manipulates shit, how it works. And then that way, if you ever needed to do that, maybe stretch some text out, you know what to press to fuck with it. You know what I mean? That's an easy way to go about it. But the easier way is just watch some YouTube videos. Let me see. Any suggestions on where to buy an affordable mug? Heat Press, fuck. Heat Press Nation just had a fucking cheap ass one the other day, for Black Friday. I don't even know if it's on sale. One Love, but they had a really cheap one for like 100 something bucks or some shit. For your 2X size and up, do you make your designs or letters bigger than small to large shirts? No, I don't. I design the same exact thing for a small shirt to a XXL shirt. I don't resize anything because nobody does that. You know what I mean? It's when you send your shirts to a screen printer, they burn one screen only. That one screen lays down on every single shirt and prints it. They're not changing the screen out for an extra large shirt, then changing the screen back for a small shirt, then changing it out for a XXL shirt. One screen, like this design right here, is the same size on this extra large t-shirt, on the small t-shirt, on the XXX t-shirt. Nothing changes. So when you design shit, design something that will fit a small shirt to a 3X shirt. Let me see. Great way to learn Photoshop and Illustrator is YouTube, lynda.com, and Skillshare. I've used lynda.com when I was learning how to edit videos with Premiere. I never used to use Premiere before, but lynda.com works. YouTube works wonders. Skillshare is something that the homie Boostin from Suerte Muerte put me on too. About how many times do you do the test wash? I personally just wash that shit. If I could get more than 10 washes out of it, then I'm good. You know what I mean? If nothing's happened after 10 washes, then obviously my press or whatever I'm pressing is good. So usually when if I'm testing something like really brand new, like that I've never really fucked with before, like maybe a new formula of a transfer, or maybe like when I was doing the Jason N shit, I was just putting it in with everything, like multiple washes, 20, 30 washes, wear it to the gym, wash it, wear it to the gym, wash it. I just kept doing it just until something fucked up. And that was it. But usually like 10 washes just straight, man. Not too intricate. Background is more of a pain weeding out the bandana. Oh, do you use sites like 24-hour tees to test shirts like all over prints? Straight jacket design, I've never used anything 24-hour tees or anything like that. Let me see. In this business, you have to be as organized as possible. Yep, I believe that's for sure. Nicholas Jacobs said lunchtime Q&A is the shit. I love it. Appreciate that. What do you think about having a gallery? Graffiti art to sell clothing. In my past, I have been part of a few different galleries, hanging up art installations and selling clothes. It works, but I seen it work more when you do kind of like a pop-up shop. But if you do a pop-up shop with artists that are doing live painting, if you're doing a pop-up shop with alcohol brand, doing a pop-up shop with somebody else in some sort of collaboration, it works 1,000 times better than doing it by yourself. I don't know how new you are to it or how new you are to pop-up shops and shit like that. This is dating myself, but back in 2004, 2005, pop-up shops used to be dope parties. Like, it was pretty much just a party. So you would throw this party, you would rent the space out for the weekend or for the week or maybe a month, and you would throw the opening party. The opening party was pretty much it. That's where you had a lot of people come out. Either you got like an alcohol sponsor or you got some sort of sponsor to sponsor the event. This is like when photo booths really started popping off. Now you see them at weddings and quinceañeras and shit like that. But back then, majority of the photo booths were from pop-up shops. That was like the fucking cool draw back then. Like I said, this is 04, 03, 04, shit like that. Now pop-up shops are everywhere, right? Everybody's doing them. And they could be successful and they could not be successful. It all depends on the following and your engagement with your customers, with your following, shit like that. Just because you have 100,000 followers on Instagram doesn't mean all 100,000 of those motherfuckers are coming to your pop-up shop. A good way to look at it is if somebody has 100K following and when they post a picture on Instagram and only 10 people like it, obviously only 10 people give a fuck about that person's brand. Not the 100K. The 100K is probably just some fluff, you know what I mean? But when you actually look at the engagement, the comments, if you look at the fucking following, shit like that, when you put the 2 and 2 together, following versus engagement, that's how you see who's really fucking with you and who just either follows you just cuz or really doesn't give a fuck what you're doing. As a brand, you want your following to give a fuck about what you're doing. You know what I mean? You want your following to be like, fuck, I like this shirt. I like that they're going to have this pop-up shop. I want to go to this pop-up shop. So the easy way to do it is collaborate with somebody else outside of your space. So if you wanted to do some sort of gallery, graffiti, some kind of street art, or any kind of art in general, it would be good to collaborate with an artist, maybe a DJ, maybe a local artist who has a good following, like I said, an alcohol brand, a food truck, something that more people will gravitate towards than just coming to a pop-up shop. You know what I mean? Nobody's just coming to look at your shirts. You want to draw them in with something else. Like I said, a food truck, some sort of alcohol sponsor, a DJ with a really good following. Live painting is always dope. So shit like that always works. If you just did a gallery, like I said, I've done galleries before. It just draws a different crowd, and the crowd isn't there to spend money on shirts from somebody else. They're really coming for the artists in the gallery. So if you're doing both, like my homie Raw Tombs does, he does painting, live painting, and then he incorporates his t-shirts. He wins all day long. We've also did art shows locally. Me, Raw Tunes, 110 South, Local Roots. Shit, there's a few other people. There's a chick that just made bows. There was all kind of fucking people at this art show, but it drew in crowds from everywhere. People were coming for the art. People were coming for different vendors. My following was coming for my stuff and then seeing the other people. So it's a collaborative thing where everybody brings value to the table and everybody eats off of it. Now, if you were just trying to collaborate with some fucking brand that had, 500K following, established brand, and you only bring 400 followers to the table, that shit don't add up. You know what I mean? So you don't bring any value to the 500K following. You're pretty much just leveraging their eyeballs. So they're going to be like, well, what the fuck are you bringing? You know what I mean? You're just using my eyeballs to piggyback off of me. In reality, that's what you're trying to do, but you have to offer some sort of value to it too. So in my past experience doing art shows, like a gallery, art show, hip hop showcase, like if you had rappers and producers come out and showcase their shit, that works. You could always find local bars that'll be down because you're packing the bar, they're making money off of the drinks, you're making money off of patrons in the bar. So try to find spots like that. That shit works fucking wonders, man. A lot of people just think they have to hit up swap meets, craft fairs, shit like that. You could always think outside the box, and like you could piggyback on a food truck. You could tell a food truck, post up here, I'm gonna post up right next to you guys, selling my shirts while you guys sell your tacos or while you sell your burgers or whatever it is. That way both you guys are utilizing your following together to help each other out. That's how I see pop-up shops work now. Art galleries, anything that's not an actual brick and mortar storefront, that's how I see it work now, is by the 2 or 3 companies coming together and actually helping each other out. Makes it work a lot better because now people are more invested into coming to see some shit instead of just coming to see a pop-up shop. And not to take anything away from people that do pop-up shops, but like I said, 03, 04, shits were dope. Like you were going for the party. Now it's not so much the party, right? People are just making pop-up shops because it sounds cool to do, but the end goal is to sell shirts. Like you want to sell your product, you know what I mean? So think about different ways to help one another, help another brand. That's why I like the Facebook group so much, because everybody in that fucking group is contributing to the group. The same goes for if you wanted to collaborate with another brand and do a t-shirt together, or if you wanted to throw an event together. Everybody has to bring something to the table, and everybody is trying to help each other, not just I want to do everything for me, fuck the other brand that's involved with this shit, because it's not going to work that way. So if you wanted to do that art gallery shit, I suggest also teaming up with some other people outside of the art world, you know what I mean? Like I said, rappers, DJs, producers, R&B singers, some sort of entertainment, and then have some sort of drink sponsor, or even like you could do like fucking, not even somebody that has a food truck, but somebody that has a taco business, like a catering business, have them come out and throw some tacos out. That shit right there fucking works all day long. And then partner that up at a bar. So you have taco guy outside the bar, inside the bar you're slinging shirts, and then you have like your homie that's a rapper or a DJ. Everybody helps everybody. You know what I mean? Let me see. Thanks, bro. From Michael from Holland. Thank you. Appreciate that. Last question. Procreate doesn't support CMYK. Should I just try to create my drawing designs in Photoshop, Illustrator? Procreate is, if I'm understanding you correctly, I think I use Procreate for the iPad with the Apple Pencil. I don't think that shit supports CMYK. I can't. Not 100% sure. I know I can vector shit through Procreate. I use that to sketch a lot of my stuff. Photoshop supports CMYK, so you could actually go between the two. But I'm not 100% sure if Procreate does. You might be right. Let me see. What up, Brando? Do you have any recommendations for Tri Blend blanks? I was going to look into Bella Canvas for my fitness apparel line. I don't have any recommendations for Tri Blends. I've never used them. I get, sometimes I'll have some people that want some custom shit and they request that kind of shit, and I just tell them I don't offer those types of shirts because I don't know nothing about them. I've touched them and felt them at ISS and I checked them out. I just never got into them, so sorry, but I don't know any I don't know what would be a good one. I would just suggest ordering samples from like maybe Bella Canvas, Next Level. I don't know who else offers Tri Blends. What do you use for all over prints? I don't do all over prints, Straight Jacket. I just never got involved with that. I know a lot of people use sublimation for all over prints because it's easy. Just sublimate over the whole thing, so you get a white t-shirt and then you sublimate black. Like when they were doing that Galaxy print shit, like when Nike dropped those Galaxy foam posits and all those shoes, people were sublimating Galaxy socks, Galaxy shirts and jackets. It was just all sublimation. But I personally don't do all over prints. How do you go about getting liquor brands to sponsor the event or collab? You just hit them up. Hit them up, say, hey, I'm doing this. Obviously, you're not going to get Jack Daniels or some shit like that, right? But if you shoot lower, and all these smaller, like craft breweries are easy as fuck to talk about collabing with. Same goes for people that are starting their own vodka line or their own whiskey brand or whatever it is. You hit up the smaller brands and then you collaborate with them. You don't go straight for the top dog, you know what I mean? Not to say you can't, but all you do is, it's just an email. You email them, say, hey, I'm trying to do this. Want to know if you guys want to be interested in sponsoring this event. You have to have some sort of proposal in place with them. It's not just like fucking, hey man, what's up? I own this t-shirt brand. I'm trying to do this. Come with an actual proposal, meaning you're a business. You're approaching other businesses. You have to be in your business bag. You know what I mean? Like you really have. It's not just like fucking hitting somebody up on a text message type shit. It's put together an actual proposal. If you're trying to get like Jack Daniels or a bigger brand, put together an actual proposal. What does the bigger brand get out of it too? You have to show them the value in why it'll be good for them to sponsor something. You know what I mean? You have to, I don't want to say like you have to fake it, but you have to talk to them in their language, I guess you could say, right? So if you're hitting up somebody and you want them to sponsor it, like say if you were hitting up Jack Daniels, you don't ask like, hey man, can you guys just throw a shitload of whiskey over here or whatever? Say they have their new fucking cinnamon flavor fucking whiskey or whatever it is. Then you could say, hey, it'll be cool if you guys promoted the cinnamon whiskey here. I'm going to be doing this, blah, blah, blah. I'm estimating this many people to show up. And it's good to throw out your numbers. You know, my following is like this. My conversion rate is this. This is what I can offer you. Now it's up to them to say yes or no. You know what I mean? If it's worth it for their business to sponsor you, to actually come to your event, to actually get involved with you. You have to show them the value in why they would come to you. Same thing goes for you. Like if a company approached you and just said, hey man, let's collab on this event. Aren't you going to want to know who's coming to this event, what it's about? You're going to want to know all the details, right? Before you agree to it. You want to know who you're getting in bed with before you even do it. So that's the kind of shit that you have to put in your proposal when approaching these companies. There's a lot of new tequila brands. There's a lot of craft breweries around here. There's a lot of wineries. There's a lot of smaller alcohol brands that you could collab with and get to sponsor your shit. It's a lot easier than it sounds. It sounds overwhelming, but when I've done it, it's been easy as fuck. Like every website has a contact. There's a contact us email on every single website for every single brand. You know what I mean? All you have to do is hit them up and be like, boom, drop your proposal in there and hit up fucking 40 different alcohol companies. Somebody's gonna bite, you know what I mean? If you just hit up 2 and then you're waiting and relying on those 2, shit ain't gonna work out. But if you did it for 40 a day, just keep hitting people up, then your chances are a lot better, you know what I mean? Let me see. What's the best way to find events to vend at? This has been the hardest for me to get my brand out. Easy. Figure out what you want to do. There's fucking festivals all the time. There's figure out where they're having concerts at. Figure out local parks, wherever they do events. What events do you attend that you want to go to? There's always some sort of vendor contact info. There's always a vendor email, anything. Even if you wanted to vend at the fucking county fair, there's a vendor tab there. So you have to figure out where you want to be, where your audience is going to be at. If you're just trying to shoot for the stars and try to vend anywhere, then obviously then you could just pick, you could go anywhere, you know what I mean? But if there's a certain target audience that if you had a skate brand, obviously you want to go to fucking the US Open over here in Huntington Beach. You want to go to skate parks. You want to go to any kind of fucking skating event. You're not going to be selling your shit at the lowrider show. You know what I mean? You're going to be going to the skating events. So figure out what the big skate, whatever it is, like if it's a fucking skate competition, some sort of demo, new skate park is opening up, shit like that. That's where you want to be. You can't tell me you've never been invited to a festival or an event personally, like just to go as a customer. You know what I mean? So if there's a certain, like if you wanted to go to Coachella, obviously you just look up Coachella and look up vendors. It's probably hard as fuck to get in there, but at the same time, there's shit going on over there. Same thing goes for out here in San Bernardino at the Nas Center. There's always concerts, festivals, raves, all that shit going on. You just hit up the Nas Center, look for the vendor thing and see what concerts they have going on. After Coachella, there's Stagecoach in that same venue. Same thing goes for, like out here, the Queen Mary does a lot of shit. You go to the Queen Mary and find out what concerts or events are coming up. Do that shit. Ink and Iron, there's fucking different tattoo expos. Designer Con was just a couple weekends ago in Pasadena. There's shit going on all the time, man. Let me see. I'm working 5 other artists with 12 days of Christmas promotion. We did it last year and killed it. Bam, that's fucking dope, man. And it's really dope they've been doing those workshops at the college, man. I think that shit is cool as fuck. Adobe is releasing Photoshop in 2019 for iPads. Damn, that's fucking cool. Need to upgrade my shit. Never, let me see. Dougie Designs, what's up? Everyone should know when hitting up businesses, you need to come correct. That's exactly it. You just need to be in your fucking business bag, man. I really think that when you talk to certain businesses, you talk in their lingo. You know what I mean? It just comes across a lot easier for you. You're really an inspiration to my boyfriend and I finally getting this off the road. Sylvia, very dope. Congrats to you and your boyfriend on starting your business. Much fucking success to you guys, man. Do Caesar sell foil HTV? I have no idea. I personally never use foil. I don't use glitter. I don't use flock. I use regular HTV. I have no need for it in the custom shirts or the brands that I do. Big brand. I ordered my heat press last night with some Teflon sheets. Very dope. Congrats, man. How do you edit your video? Adobe Premiere Pro. What's the best tool you've used to sell product? Instagram. Instagram has been a godsend when it came to selling t-shirts. When I first started selling t-shirts and I figured out I didn't figure it out, but I seen the use of social media was with MySpace. At the time I had fucking a vinyl cutter and I was just making fucking t-shirts. for friends, for local rappers and shit like that. And every time I would make my own t-shirt and wear it in a MySpace picture or something, people would hit me up like, hey, where'd you get that shirt from? I'll make shirts that match my shoes. And people like, hey, I've been trying to find fucking the shirt to match those shoes. A really good one is, if you were into Nike SBs a long time ago, De La Soul Highs, really random weird colors, brown, green, orange, really funky ass fucking colors, hard shoe to find, anything to match with it. I created my own shit, put it on MySpace. Everybody was like, where the fuck did you get that shirt from? Really dope. That's when I said, oh shit, I could start making money off of the internet. This is gonna be a fucking easy move. Since then, it's just, the internet evolves every day. Social media evolves every day. So you can't really ride the wave, but you have to understand where the attention is. I didn't know that shit back then. I barely figured this shit out maybe fucking 6-7 years ago on how to control the attention through social media. So 6-7 years ago is when I really started looking into what the fuck is going on social media, and why is everybody looking at Facebook? Why is everybody on Twitter? Why is everybody on MySpace? Why is everybody watching YouTube? That's when I started to figure the shit out from a business standpoint and selling t-shirt standpoint. Is you go where the attention is. If I'm not trying to, if like nobody that's gonna buy my shirts is active on Facebook, I'm not gonna put any fucking attention into Facebook. It's good to have the footprint there and your name and blah blah blah. But if majority of your audience is engaging on Instagram, you have to live on Instagram. That's what I did with Leftovers. That's what I did with a few other brands. I figured out that more so people used Instagram that were buying my shirts and shit like that. I wasn't mad about not being able to put live links in the comments. People were still going to my bio and clicking the link. They understood how that shit worked, and it wasn't an extra step for them. Facebook is dope because you could put links in the caption or just links when you comment shit. That's cool, but majority of my audience isn't active on fucking Facebook. But for this niche brand that I'm gonna do for Patreon, I noticed there's a lot of action for fucking Facebook on there, so I need to get active on that. But you have to understand what's going on in the certain circles that you want to sell in. You know what I mean? Are they using Twitter more? Are they using Instagram more, Snapchat, whatever it is? You have to figure out where your audience is living. Then you have to be a presence in that motherfucker. If I knew this back in the MySpace days, that shit would have been on, but I was all over the place back then. But that's when I figured out there is money to be made through social media. You know what I mean? This is the direct contact to the customer. And once you figure that out, man, it makes selling a whole lot easier. Trust me. And I don't even fucking know everything. That's the crazy shit, is the smaller bit of the small minor information that I know about selling shit online is fucking crumbs to the way that like these bigger brands fucking run their marketing. It's fucking crazy how dialed in they are. And I'm talking just from a small startup brand from home guy that I figured a lot of shit out. There's companies that are fucking killing shit and almost backsided brainwashing people into buying shit, which is fucking crazy. If you really look into it, I like on Patreon, I do this shit all the time. I do something called Food for Thought, where I break down other companies' marketing schemes on, not from because I had something to do with it, because I understand what they're doing and how they're getting people's attention. But if you're into that kind of weird shit like I am, that's a fucking cool ass fucking thing. Like when you look at Apple and you figure out how on brand Apple is about everything. Steve Jobs passed away, but every time they do a press conference or a press release, the new fucking CEO is dressed like Steve Jobs. Everything is still cohesive to the brand. That just shows how fucking on brand their marketing is when it comes to that shit. It's scary to think how fucking dialed in companies are. Coke, for example. Coke and Red go together. McDonald's, like all that shit is fucking, the way that they market shit and the way that they get people excited about their stuff is an art form, but it's fucking cool as hell. So if you're into dissecting that kind of weird shit, Patreon would be a good place for you, because I do that shit weekly. But outside of that, if you figure out marketing early on for your brand, it'll make selling a lot easier. That's like the biggest part. Having cool designs is one thing, but being able to market your cool designs is a whole nother fucking ball game. You know what I mean? So if that's something that you're into, study the shit, figure it out, study other brands, figure out what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and apply not their same strategy, but pieces of it to create your own strategy. That's what I did for my shit. For any brand that I run, is the same exact thing, is figuring out what makes people get excited about shit. You know what I mean? It's the nerdy part of fucking business, of owning these brands, is the marketing side, because it's like some geek shit that you have to understand. But it's knowing how people operate. It's knowing that some people won't click to your bio to click the link because that's 2 extra steps that it'll take for them to buy shit. You know what I mean? People are wary with that kind of stuff. It's like, fuck, if you would have just had the link here, I would have bought the shirt. For some reason, that's how the human brain works. So if you understand that, or if you are interested in that kind of shit, look into marketing, look into fucking, and not just the regular social media marketing, but look into full campaigns. That shit, it's crazy, man. Sometimes it could be the smallest shit of just italicized letters. Instead of doing something standard and you just put a small slant to the letters and everything you do has that small slant, that becomes the branding. You know what I mean? That it's cohesive with everything you're doing. It's a fucking ill-ass fucking thing to look into, man. And I'm kind of geeking out over the shit right now just talking. But if you wanted to make the sale a lot easier and you're just mainly doing online sales, you have to fucking get into some sort of marketing, not even scheme, but you have to get some sort of strategy rolling for your brand just to make shit sell easier. You know what I mean? How do you edit your videos? Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro. High Times be a great event to vend at. High Times, there's a few other ones that I just seen. Cannabis Cup, there's a few other ones out here in Southern California. They usually do in San Bernardino. What do you shoot? Canon, Nike, Sony. I shoot Canon. New iPad Pro is a beast. Yeah, I just seen that, motherfucker's crazy. Main customers by gender. For me, it's men. I rarely sell women's t-shirts because there's too many options. So I usually just sell men's fucking t-shirts. All right, I'm about to get up out of here. Shout out to everybody from the Facebook group. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to be doing some more design videos, and I'm going to be doing some more full process from designing to cutting on the vinyl cutter to pressing the shirts. I'm going to be dropping some videos like that this coming week. Well, at the end of this week, I should say. Appreciate everybody. Catch you guys on the next one, man. And if you wanted to fuck with the Patreon, patreon.com/BigBrando. Peace.